my next questions to you with Gagan is how you see event-driven architecture playing role in that agentic AI system.
So it does play a very significant role because you touched upon an important point of scalability, right? What not many people realize when they are deciding on an event-driven architecture is that it's not going to be helping them decouple your microservices. It is going to allow you to scale and independently process certain events, right? So if you have, we're talking about small scale tens and hundreds of events, but think about scenarios when we're talking about large scale events happening at the same time. We're talking about thousands and tens of thousands, or maybe even hundreds of thousands of events happening at every minute or every second. To process them in a substantially fast manner and making sure that the agents who are going to take certain actions have the latest information is very important. That's where scalability comes into picture. Now, I'm taking a step back. I'm just trying to work in towards what I call as a cognitive data pipeline, where each event is independently processed, evaluated. If I want to embed it to make sure that I use that in a vector database as a knowledge down the line in my agent, in my LLMs or my agents. That's one part of the scalability. Now, when it comes to the agent processing, even the agents can use this event-driven architecture where they can keep the context of a certain task that they're trying to perform end to end. And a task may have multiple branches that may be spread out, right? For example, if just an example I want to pick up is if there's an application performance degradation that has been reported by some of our alert monitor observability tools, we can trigger a workflow where agents can start investigating independently in multiple branches. They can look at the logs, they can look at the historical metrics, they can look at the historical deployments, combine everything together to get a right set of an idea of when this degradation started to happen, if the deployment is a reason or if there is something else going on in the logs, right? Just an example. And all this is kind of a context that it can keep in a message bus, and it can independently be consumed by different set of agents. So a leader agent will be triggering the workflow, and then you have multiple child agents or follower agents which will read this context from a message bus and perform their independent set of operations.
Cool. And that's what we're looking to talk here, right? So if we look at this architecture, I believe this is what you're describing. We are going to have an event which is being produced here, and then that event can be consumed by the agent, and then agent will be orchestrating multiple agents here as well. So that can be an agent one, agent two, agent three, and then those agents can be able to go and communicate with each other via some kind of an event. And that's where services like Kafka and Kinesis or SNS, SQS, this are playing a role. So
Yes.
one questions, when someone looking to go and think about building those Gen AI applications, specifically around building those agentic based solutions, whether they're going with the workflow or whether they're going with the building the total autonomous agent, do we really need to have or think through like, okay, we need to build this event driven architecture, or we can just simply go with the request and response to start with?
Well, here's what I've seen, right? I mean, 2025 has been an interesting year where I've seen a lot of these hackathon projects or POCs being trying to be implemented in the production, right? And a lot of these early initial implementations that we saw, like again coming back to chatbots and code generation or co-pilots, those were based on this approach. The start off to get a feel of, to understand how these applications or generative AI applications really work and how you're going to be using the LLM models into your workflows or into your enterprise architecture is a good starting point. But as I want to reiterate again, is this is not going to solve a lot of complex enterprise use cases that we see in real world. And to start off, yes, the request response paradigm is a great start, is a great way to get your hands dirty to understand the technology, understand the tech under the hood. But as you're scaling it, you are going to be needing to adopt and adapt and evolve into certain areas where you are implementing some sort of an event-driven architecture. And yes, things like the message bus that you talked about, right? It can be Kafka. You can start small. it can be SQS, it can be Event Bridge, or it can be even Pulsar, like open source tools, things of that sort. You can integrate in this event-driven architecture.